Shadowboxing with Filthy and J-Dog.
All right, we are here for season 1, episode 5 of Shadowboxing, the TSR community podcast. I am, as always, J-Dog4, joined by my constant co-host and good friend, Filthy Hand74. Filthy, how you doing?
I'm doing good tonight.
Awesome, glad to hear it. And we are also joined by our esteemed guest. You know him, you love him, Doc. How you doing, Doc?
What's good, fellas? I'm living great, man. Life's good.
Awesome. Well, we've got an interesting docket tonight. So obviously the season is over. This is one of our first one of at least two. I know we've got another postseason podcast planned, and I guess I don't even. Will there be time for a third? I haven't even looked that far
There
ahead.
should be, because we don't start, isn't it 9-1? 9-1's the official start.
That
I know
sounds
it's
right.
pretty-
So there will be at least one more. One way or the other, there's definitely another podcast that we actually have as well planned as we ever planned these things. And then if there's a third podcast that's off season after that, we'll definitely come up with some fun things to talk about for that. But this episode's basically just going to be a season recap and a bit of a cycle recap as well. For the Shadow Realm, talking about its inaugural Madden cycle, and then talk about what we have looking forward to in the cycle that is to come. So, we kind of, in the last episode, went over all of, like, the award winners and things like that, and sort of looked at what things were looking like going into the playoffs, and it just worked out that basically the entirety of the playoffs, not even basically, the entirety of the playoffs just happened. So that's what is on the main screen right now, is the TSR playoffs for the 2022 NFL season. There's obviously a lot to dissect and to break down here, but the ultimate result was that Jonesy and the Green Bay Packers were the Super Bowl champions in the 2022 season. He beat Bomber and the Ravens 37-31, and what I think we can all agree was a very thrilling game. It was back and forth, good plays made by both sides, and Jonesy ultimately came out the victor. So, overall thoughts on the playoffs, if you want to focus on a specific matchup, if you want to focus specifically on the Super Bowl, things like that. Filthy, I'll toss it to you first. What are your thoughts on the playoffs for this season?
I mean, that NFC North, dude, was a really, really tough division the whole entirety of the two seasons with TSR. So they kind of beat up on each other, like, all the time over there. So it was kind of cool watching three of them get in and seeing the runs that they had. I mean, Dart got bounced early, but that's just, he matched up with Jonesy right off the rip. Doink was able to actually bounce Darth Dad. You had two NFC North teams that played for the shot to even go to the NFC title game. Jonesy beat me. I started slow, and, like, I just didn't... He played good defense, and I just I couldn't do what I had to do to get back in it. He had a drive where he just went down the field and sealed it. I mean, we talked about it the whole time with the AFC. What I remember too is that we thought Bomber was going to go through that. It was cool to see. Buster was the 2 seed, but it was cool to see him get all the way to the AFC title game, even though he got bounced pretty handily, like 35-13, got sent home and ended his cycle. But I mean, hey, he made it farther than I did, so I guess he can talk just a little bit more shit on that than I can. I thought Bomber was going to beat Jonesy when I initially saw that matchup. And then I know we were kind of talking, because I got to hear it on my drive home. I didn't get to watch it, so I was listening to the Madden play callers. So it would kind of probably been better if I see it. I know it started off slow. I know the turnovers were the difference. It was 3 turnovers to none. And fucking Aaron Jones had like 200 and something all-purpose yards and multiple touchdowns. Like, he just did his thing and got him.
Yeah, and Doc, I know you watched the game, and when we were talking before the podcast, you seemed pretty knowledgeable of it. So what was your take on the playoffs as a whole and the Super Bowl particularly?
Oh man, especially on like the NFC side, I'll start with that. I think the playoffs were crazy, man. Like all of those games were just insane, and like the game against Darth and Smooth, he won on the last second Hail Mary. I don't know if you guys saw that play.
I did.
Um, I don't know why Darth came Prince man on that. It was great football. We'll put it like that. So Smooth goes on and plays Jonesy, and I think Jones was locked in from like week 16, week 15. He was already kind of in
He
playoff
got
mode the way he was
he
playing,
got
you know?
hot at the end of the season, man,
Yeah.
and like, looks he was at this weird swing where he could either get in or he could miss it completely.
hmm And that's just how it goes. It's a game of runs, but the AFC side, man, I'm a little iffy on because of the forced wins, and we had Death Wish, which I think that game I actually had Death Wish upsetting the Broncos with that because I thought Nick Chubb is just different, so I figured
Hmm.
he'd run over him. But no, not to discredit Broncos, but it was just a weird start anyway. And then you had the fast forced dub. So it was kind of weird, but so I kind of ran into the Super Bowl with kind of the same thought, but then at the same time, I was like, Obama really he didn't face a tough challenge going up to the Super Bowl, so I wondered that kind of affected, his gameplay in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I feel that too because like he didn't have to play clinker fast before. Like
hmm
he kind of got the easier road when it was all said and done when the chips fell how they did. And like I mean
Yeah,
that's
let alone. Go
it's
ahead, go ahead.
it is what it is. Like that's just kind of how it fucking ended up crumbling though.
Yeah, so
But
Right.
yeah, I
it's
could
not
see
like
that
he can,
affecting him.
he can't
Like
control that,
not
right? Like
no.
you have to play the opponents that you have to play. You can't control.
Mhm.
Right. Well, Jada, real quick, name the other users in Bomber's division.
Hive and Faz
In
and
his division.
or
No,
his
none of
conference.
those.
Sorry.
None of those. That's conference,
You can't
man.
name them, right? You can't name them.
I can. So Death Wish was the Browns. Sky 590 was the Steelers. And
Bengals
Tiny's
was. I know
Bengals
this.
Oh,
was
man.
Pump.
Listen, you're picking on the guy that said
Pump
7
Daddy,
concussions.
yeah.
Fuck right
Yeah.
off, Doc. Like, of course I don't remember. I don't remember shit.
Pump Daddy. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't really like battle tested. So it is kind of a challenge to go from
Yeah.
to just get into that mode,
Yeah.
and you kind of had like an easier route, But
To
and you can
Doc's
tell he
point,
kind of got to a slow start.
to Doc's point, I don't remember. Not that, like no personal offense. I don't remember all of the usernames, but I do remember in even our first podcast, we were all like, "It's like the AFC North is Bomber's division to lose. Like he's just running away with it." So, to that end, at least in the South, Faz had Hive to contend with, and Bomber really didn't have that challenge in the regular season in his division. So,
Right. But I mean, as far as the Super Bowl goes, it was just one of those. Obama caught some tough breaks early, like Lamar Jackson fumbled on the second drive. Not only that, but Jones got the ball back at the half. So we're
hmm
playing on 7 minute quarters. The game's flying by. You're already down 10. So it was kind of like he was already out of his game plan from the jump. He's playing catch up.
I'd
So
really
I
like
think
to
that's
go
where the
to
3 turnovers.
yeah.
hmm
I'm not trying to get off subject already. I'd really like to go to 8 minute quarters.
We got to do it, man.
This is the
And
podcast to
quick
get
out-
off subject early, by the way.
Yeah, like no, that's fine. I'd love to go to 8 minute quarters, dude.
We got to
It's
do
a
it,
little
man.
bit it's a little bit more time. Like you're not adding that much overall physical time to the game. You know what I mean? Like we're already playing a 45-minute game. What's another fucking 5 minutes usually added on to that? I think they usually
Right.
ends up being around 50 minutes with what? Maybe like a 20-second Excel clock. That way motherfuckers aren't sitting on the time chewing at the whole thing. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
I think you end up getting a really good fucking balance there.
So it's 7 minute quarters right now, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
you're literally only adding 1 minute per quarter, so that's 4 total extra minutes.
You got to think of the intricacies though of how the clock stops, penalties, out
Yeah.
of bounds, timeouts. Like you can extend it a little bit,
Right.
but that's what I'm saying. Throw that 20-second Excel clock on there.
Yeah.
That while you're cutting off 5 seconds of bullshit, where a user's just gonna almost be manually running that fucking anyway.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Right.
Like. Yeah.
It kills so many birds with one stone, and I think the what I'm trying to get at, because I know Freight touched on this too on his show, and I'm like, honestly, bro, if you move up to like 8 to 9 minutes, you're actually getting actual drive time, actual time to call plays, and you're killing a lot of the dead time with the cell clock.
Yep.
Not only
Yeah.
that, you're killing all those extra hot routes and all this other setups and stuff. It'll eliminate the whole YouTube setup, even the idea, even though that's not a big problem here, but it would kill, it would help out so many things.
Yeah.
And so, like in the Super Bowl, Bomber could have used another couple, at least two or three more drives, and it would actually be a more strategic game versus
Hmm.
who could score off of big plays the quickest and
I mean,
all of
I
this
remember
stuff. So,
playing. I remember playing 8-minute quarters on NCAA before an Excel clock. You talk about a long ass game, dude.
Right when the clock stops every
yeah,
first down.
yeah,
Fuck.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You time to put some drives
Oh,
together,
man.
dude.
yeah, boy. I
I'm
forgot
that just reminded me how not ready I am as compared to how ready I think I am for an NCAA football game because I forgot. But yeah, that's gonna be a fucking. We're used to 45-minute Madden games, man. Those games are gonna be a solid hour a pop.
Actual good fucking overtime
Yeah.
rules.
Oh man. Good. Yeah. Oh man. Remember that
But yeah, congrats,
pick
Jonesy, though, man.
that pick six against Housed in the fucking Rose Bowl national championship?
Yeah.
He was trying that cheesy shit, and my defensive end just picked off his fucking bullshit like power screen pass or whatever the fuck, and just ran it down the field. In overtime.
That wasn't housed, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah. That was fucking he did. He tried to run that fucking power option that was broke as shit that year, and you fucking crashed the inside of it on the pitch, and on the pitch is like you caught it and was
just gone.
Yeah, man.
that was back before recording.
It isn't it good though, dude. We would have been such little shits if we'd been streaming during those days. It would have been bad.
Cringy.
It would have been
Yeah.
cringe, honestly. As cringe
The
as
best
this
you
shit
had on
is.
NCAA was the newspaper clips. Now we don't
Yeah.
even pay attention to the newspaper,
Right.
but back then that was the shit on
Yep.
on NCAA.
You'd be like, oh shit, I made page 2.
Yeah.
Dude.
But alright, so that seems like a decent recap of the season that we had, or at least the postseason that we had. And we'll pull it out
But
and
congrats,
just go to
congrats to Jonesy though, and
Yeah,
just the
congrats
fact
to
that
Jonesy.
Bomber sending out a trophy, I think that's dope. That makes everybody want to play a little harder, take
Hell
it
yeah.
serious.
I need one of those motherfuckers
So,
sitting behind me in this, dude.
You
My
feel
little
me?
backdrop, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
What's that trophy?
I agree, and I do think thank you, Doc, for that shout out, because I do think on both ends it's awesome. Absolutely, congratulations, Jonesy. Like, you had a great season.
I was salty when I lost. GG, Jonesy.
But it's like we sort of talked, and again, it's something that struck me, and I should have brought it up, I guess, when it was relevant. But like the point that we didn't, Doc rightfully was like, who was in the AFC North besides Bomber? But it's like, I can tell you who is in the NFC North because Jonesy was bred in fire. Like, that man had to fight through 3 very strong teams in his division. It's like every game was a battle. And so it should come to nobody's surprise that he was able to battle his way through the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. But
CPU.
Congratulations. Yeah, okay, the Lions were a CPU. Yeah. Okay, I will say this. Even with a CPU team, the NFC North was like the best division in the game. And they had a fucking CPU
No, it was.
player.
It was. I 100% agree with you.
That actually increases the value of like that division, if you ask me. But either way, like, absolutely awesome performance, and congratulations, Jonesy. And shout out to Bomber in the league for having a literal trophy that he's gonna get. I think that's really cool. That adds a whole lot of extra incentive. And it adds something tangible to this otherwise completely digital, like, video game thing that we're playing and fighting for. But yeah, so just I haven't had a whole lot of time to think about the cycle as a whole. It was a quick one, obviously, only 2 seasons, because this league kind of popped up later in Madden 22's cycle. But I guess one of my most predominant thoughts is that it's actually really awesome how involved people were with the league, considering how late in the Madden 22 cycle that this league even popped up. It was this league popped up long after most other leagues had died in Madden 22. And I think it's a real testament to the users and to the commissioners and the admins that this league not only completed the cycle, literally played until we couldn't fit in another full season until the next Madden came out. Not only did that with mostly active users, and we all know it's impossible to keep everybody active all the time, but like a very active, especially considering the point in the
I
cycle.
would say at least
user
a
group.
90 to 95% activity level.
Yeah,
Like you didn't have people that were like straight blowing off games out of a minority
Mm.
group, and like they're not even those people, I would say, I don't even think are here anymore for the most part when I'm looking down the list.
yeah. And so, considering to do that, and that is not even to speak of the content that was being put out by users, whether it was through their
Hmm.
Twitters or various different streams or highlights. I think of Bloom and stuff like that with YouTube, and there were other users that had YouTube like recaps of games and things like that. Some people had streams around that. We've got this podcast. We're not the only podcast. There's like so many people were active in so many different ways over such a short and very late cycle league, which I think is just an awesome thing, and I think it says so much about the kind of potential that this league has starting into Madden 23 with a full cycle, starting right off the bat. I think this is going to I think this at least has the potential to be one of the premier sim Madden leagues. And I know there's a lot of people that are in this league from, SML and SML Primer, but I think a
Mm.
lot of us also think this league has the potential to be as good or better than those leagues. And I'm one of those people because I see what we
Yeah.
have in the community. So
This
that's
is
sort of
I've been a part of some different leagues, man, and like a lot of different settings, and I would say different levels of like what you would consider a sim league, and like it's the trifecta. The admin team's good, the users are active, like, and it's just there's content to it, and like all of that combining together, and like you don't have people like beefing and screaming at each other in chat either, and like fucking,
Yeah.
like there's been some leagues I've been in, dude, where it's like a fucking battle zone out in that bitch,
Yeah, man.
dude, like,
Yeah, and
and
they
it's
love it.
yeah, and it's not like that here. Like, there's a little banter, you know what I mean? Like, tiny little bit of shit talk. But at the end of the day, everybody's just chilling, vibing, making content, and excited about the fucking league, which makes me want to stick with it and, like, do this show and make content and so
Yeah.
on and so
Yeah.
forth.
Absolutely. And that's one of the cool things about it too. It's a certain vibe to it. I know that's a played out word, but when you get in this league, like you said, it has the trifecta, and then guys want to just enjoy the game. Just play Madden, bro. Like we come here to,
Mm,
to take a load off. We don't need all the extra drama and stuff, So the gameplay in here is fun. I hadn't run across too many cheesers. I've been only been here for like half a season, but other than that, man, I'm looking forward to this league. Especially now that we got the team draft, the list out now. Like, I'm looking forward to this league. Probably more than most of my other leagues. So I'm only in two other leagues, but
yeah.
I'm looking forward to this one more than that. So I just think this is gonna be a fun cycle. The activity is gonna be crazy. Like it's gonna be the support is there. Like it's gonna be beautiful, man. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
I think that echoes everyone's thoughts. And yeah, I think we're in a great place, and I think we're gonna continue to be an awesome, relevant, active league, and yeah, I'm excited. Um, all right, so what do you guys think? Do we want to talk a bit about the pick order for next season, or is there
Yeah,
something else you
you
wanted to
got it
touch
up.
on?
I mean, if we're doing season recap, I mean, it's very, very unprepared. But I guess like if you kind of did like an awards, like who would you guys say was you do like your best user that you played, this
Okay.
cycle.
I like
Something
this
like that.
idea.
Worst user that you played. Something like
Okay.
that.
I like this
I'm.
idea. No, 100%.
It's on the fly though. I don't know all the
Oh, I
categories and
love it.
stuff, but I mean, like
Yeah.
J Dog, you can kick it off. Like, what would be the toughest user you've played so far in
Um,
TSR?
toughest user I've played in. It's funny because it's so terrible. The first thing when you said like the toughest and then you said the easiest, I was like, shit, I don't want to say that because I thought of the easiest right off the bat. I didn't even hesitate, and I'm
Yeah,
probably
yeah. We
actually
don't want to hurt no
wrong.
feelings.
But my gut reaction is somebody that I don't want to say that. Toughest user that I played was was probably Jonesy. I played a lot of tough users, so I can't like no
You,
disrespect to like Dark Dad. Like we played a close game. The second game that we played, I got disenfranchised real quick. I didn't play my best game. He knows that. I know that. Um, I I think of the people that I played that I can remember, it was probably Jonesy because even that I thought was a decent game, but like it was the same thing that happened when I was watching the end of the Super Bowl. I couldn't get him off the fucking
hmm
field. Like it was like
uh,
in the moments when I was like, I think I've got a chance if I can just stop him, I couldn't stop him. You know?
yeah,
And
yeah.
so that'd be my toughest. I didn't
Jonesy.
Yeah, Jonesy, I'd probably give him my toughest user that I've played. In terms of the easiest, man, I hate to do this, man, but like it's like I barely beat Hova the first time we played, and the second time we played, I beat the brakes off of that man, and it was I don't know what happened, but like he threw a lot of interceptions. And Hova, I love you, you know this. I hate to say this, so this podcast, right? I need to preface this. This whole podcast, the whole time, I was, because he lost the game to me after starting 4-0, and then he lost like 11 straight after that or some shit like that. It was something crazy. And every time we recorded, I was like, he's gonna win. He's not gonna lose out. Like he's gonna win. He started 4-0. That wasn't an accident. Like he's gonna figure this shit out. But every week we had to point out that he had lost as many more in a row as he had. And then this motherfucker turns around and in a different league in their draft order picks a team that I wanted, the Lions. I was like, you bastard. And he was like, oh, sorry, you can have them. I was like, what? No, like it's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine. And he was like, no, you can have them. And I'm like, dude, all I've done is talk about how you're losing on my podcast. You should not be giving me a fucking team in a different league. Like, not only did I body you, no disrespect, like, but that happened, and like now you're being nice to me in a different league. This doesn't feel right. This is
Nah,
it's
man.
gross. But no, and again, and here's the thing. I don't think Hova's the worst user that I've played, but that was the easiest game that I've played. And I think those are two different things. Like, he didn't
Yeah.
turn the ball over a bunch. Like, and that's why it was the easiest game for me. I was like, Jesus, he's just going to keep on giving me the ball. But that's not, like, I don't think that was, I don't know what got into him for the majority of this season. I don't think that he's going to be that way in the next cycle. And he might be able to tell you more than I could.
Yeah.
Or he might hear this and be like, that motherfucker has the balls to say that shit about me after I gave him the Lions. Shout out Hova. Thank you so much for that, brother. But,
Yeah. Shout out Hope, man.
no,
Hope's a good dude,
he
man.
is a good dude. He is a good dude, and he's so fucking classy. Like, because we were talking about that
Yeah.
afterwards, and I was like, you didn't have to, like, it's fine, like, to keep the team. I was just, like, I'm talking shit because I wanted him, but, like, it's like, you picked him, you earned him. And he's like, what did I do to earn them? And I was like, I don't know, I guess you joined the league earlier than I did, because that's how that league picked his draft order. And he's like, yeah, I didn't do shit to earn him, just have him, it's whatever. And it was weird. I'm very thankful. And I wish that we had more than, like 1 or 2 seasons with these divisions. I guess is my biggest feeling, because it's like I would have loved to play, Seals and Dad and Hova like 3 times a year. I loved my division. I would have loved to
Yeah.
play them more than the 2 seasons, and really because I wasn't as active in the first season, mostly just like the second season. Like I would love to have gotten again like a full cycle with which of course was never going to happen. It wasn't possible because of how late the league started.
Yeah.
But it would have been fun to have more, which is why I'm really hoping that wherever I end up in terms of division and team in the next cycle, that I have just as good of guys to play and that I can develop those rivalries and those, those fun matchups. Because that's
Yeah.
what I think that's what I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah, I would love to do a run back. I had the Falcons, I called them late, but I would love to do a run back with, Filthy, Bloom, No. Like, I think that division would be crazy
Mm,
That
if we
division was
ran it back.
fun,
you
man. I
guys
think I
could
said it
Yeah.
like 2 podcasts ago. I wish you guys had gotten in right as the season had started, and I didn't have that big ass fucking lead like right off a rip, man. Because
Yeah.
I still think I would have won that division because of the sheer talent differential on the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
But fucking, it would have been closer than it was. Like y'all would have had me
Yeah.
sweating.
It would have been crazy, man, because
that's
Bloom can ball. Noel can
Hmm.
ball too. Don't sleep on Noel, but I know when I first got in, I think you were like my second game. The
Hmm.
morale is a real thing for guys that don't know. Morale in Madden is crazy. So you'll see
yep.
some of the wildest stuff happen, but I also played a week too. I'm like, all right, this guy's name's Filthy Hands. Like he probably he's not gonna he's not gonna come with it, man. But nah, you was out there doing like real concepts and stuff. I was like, oh
Hmm.
snap, I'm gonna bring it. And so I would love to do a run back, but I guess to pick back up on, I'll answer. So I had to do that with my limited schedule. I would say that. Now the easiest game, I probably have to say, what's the Steelers guy name?
Oh, Sky
Sky.
590.
Yeah.
He
Scott, yeah,
ducked
yeah.
me. He ducked
I
me.
played, yeah.
I would have beat the brakes off of him, man.
I was like out of town. I was playing on like bad Wi-Fi. Like
Oh
had
shit.
family around. And I was still kicking on. Like he was pretty. Not to dog nobody, but like yeah, he had to be the easiest one I played.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
Um.
funny. I not to interrupt you, Scott, but it's funny the way that Doc, the way that you talk about playing Filthy being a chess match. So he and I basically grew up together. Like we learned the game together, so we play a lot of the same concepts, and it's funny to me because like there'll be leagues where I'm doing really well and then he's doing not so well. There aren't as many of those as there are leagues where he's doing really well and I'm not doing well, but like there's
Hmm.
still some of that balance. And when we play each other, it literally does not ever fucking matter, like who's doing well and who's not. It's a close game.
I hate playing
I
him.
fucking hate playing you.
It's
Like
fucking annoying,
it's
dude.
the worst because it's exactly what
Yeah.
you said. It's a fucking chess match, and I have to
Hmm.
think, and it's so because it's like we play the same way, so it's like I do like there's so much pressure. It's like you should know what he's doing because he's doing the same shit that you do, and it's like this
Any
just
given
this
Sunday.
it's fucking
Mm.
dude. We live in each other's head rent free when we play, and it's like
Yeah.
it's
You know who
nuts.
else is like that? Is Double Rice No Bean and Smooth. Doink. Have many? They got so many names, bro. But them two, when they were in Primer, that's when I was in Primer, and they've been tight since then. So they really
Yeah.
know each other's game, and so like you can kind of tell when they playing, they're using routes that they already know is
Yep.
about to
Hmm.
Uh
happen.
huh.
It's like it's
Yep.
funny to watch them play.
Yeah.
But so I feel you on that.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal it away from you. Where are you going, Filthy?
Oh yeah, no, toughest users I played, man. I have to give it to Mad Bomber. Like that dude, the one time that we played, and I think it was 45-21 was the final, but like there was never a point where I was in that game. Like I think I even did a tweet on my Twitter afterward with Tom Brady saying to a reporter, like, I know what Sam meant about seeing ghosts now. Because like I would think I had him on something and I would throw it and he'd undercut it just out of nowhere and I'd be like, how fuck? Like I have to give an honorable mention though to fucking Bloom.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Bloom can
mother
ball.
Bloom can ball, man. And then I mean, like, I don't want to keep adding to the list. I would have to throw you in there too, because the first time I played you was 21-14, and the second I was done with that game, I was like, "Whoo! If he had a better team, its morale wasn't
I was,
absolutely shit right now." And then you
I was
caught
saying the
me.
same thing, bro.
Then I played you that second time, man, and I was just off that night. I was doing things I never fucking do and making terrible reads, and it was like, this
Yeah, it's a
motherfucker's
rough one.
you whooped my ass. Like I
I was
came
in
out of that.
spoiler mode at that point. I was like, yeah, I'm about to start hurting somebody's feelings. That was around that point of the season. I was like, yeah, I ain't losing no more. And so, man, we got to run it back, bro. That's the good thing about me being. We'll get in that on the team list, but
Yeah, well,
I
yeah, I
want to
can
see
kind
some
of.
guys next year.
Yeah, I definitely, man, I'll run it back, dude. I mean, hey, I'll set the division. You just got to commit to taking a team within there, but it's
As
six.
long as it ain't the Pats, bro.
Okay, Mister Big Pants. I pick higher than you.
Bro, I was blown when I saw the where I picked at. I was like, "There's no fucking way!"
Yeah, you and me
Like,
both.
but
But
I do know
we'll
if you
not
look
get
at
into
my
that though.
if you look at my evals and you look at my shit, like it makes sense at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And shout out to the eval. I like the eval system too, man. It's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
it keeps things regulated. You know, guys don't get too out of hand, and it kind of smooths everything out. But
So here's where I'll
it'll
give
be
you
better on a
credit.
longer season.
It's transparent as fuck. If you have a question
Right,
about why
right.
your eval score is the way it is, I 100% encourage you to message someone like Beans or message one of those guys. I messaged Beans today about my chat activity. I was really curious. I was like, okay, I'm not protesting the 8.3. I'm not protesting my score. I don't talk 100% all of the time, but I want to know, like, how is that graded? This motherfucker sends me, like, the way he's like, okay, so here are your three scores by your three people. It was this, this, and this. Here was your lowest one, and this is how this guy grades it. And then, like, sends me the whole Excel file, like, bink, right there. Here's the thing,
Mhm.
here's the medium, here's where you rank. And I'm like, yeah, I'm at 8.3. Like, no, holy shit, you
Yeah,
got me. Like,
yeah,
now I see what I could actually do, and like I thought I talked more than I actually did, is what I fucking realize, or than I actually do, is what I realized. So get prepared. You're about to see me in chat more talking about shit like waffle makers and like what fucking home
yeah,
appliances that Filthy is buying, because that's what my life is now. Buy a waffle
yeah.
maker; they'll change your life. I wanted waffles at 3 p.m. today. My kids were like, "Waffles?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, waffles!" This is the best day ever.
Man, yeah, you made me want to. I looked up some prices to some of them, bro. I gotta check it out because I always wanted a damn waffle maker, man. You can't
Every,
beat that.
dude,
No.
everyone watching this podcast was waiting for the sponsored segment after last week. It took you 34 minutes to get there, but we hit it. Waffle makers, bitches. Buy you
Waffle
one.
makers. Oh God, man! Waffle
Straight
maker
up.
air
What's
fryer changed my life forever.
what's the brand of your waffle maker?
I would have to look it up. I did the new thing I do as an adult where I read consumer reviews, and this one kept popping up, and it's like all stainless steel, super easy to clean. The grates come in and out, like fucking nice, dude. Um, I end up paying a little bit for it, but what I've come to realize, man, is like the better the quality, especially if like the reviews are consistently good on something, I'm not going to be replacing it in 2 years.
Yeah.
So I used to always buy cheaper on shit, and then it would be like buying something new every couple of years. Where now I've come to find like the nicer the shit I buy, the little bit more I spend on it. You maintain the shit, and it doesn't fucking break. I'm starting to sound like my fucking parents, and that shit scares me every day.
Yeah.
Hey, for those if you're not 30, bro, just keep living. You gonna see
Mm-hmm.
little stuff matters at that point. You
Yup.
know.
No, I'm just getting
Yeah.
there, man, where I take life a little bit more seriously than I did. Like, so I'm trying to teach my kids. I'm like, take care of shit. Like, because what the fuck? That's why, like, I swear to God, my oldest daughter knows right now, I will not buy her another fucking cable for the PS4 to charge her controller. It's not gonna fucking happen. You leave it out, the dog eats it. How did the dog get to it? I'm done buying cords. Don't come into my room and steal my
Simple.
motherfucking cord either.
It's that simple.
Is that exactly? You know what she does now? She puts her fucking cord away.
Who
Hey,
would
man.
have known?
Filthy dropping gems, man. I'm telling
He's dropping dad knowledge right now.
Dude.
You thought you came to this podcast to hear about Shadow Realm. You were wrong. It took you about a half an hour, but you got to those real nuggets of wisdom. Like that's what we're about. All right,
you. I forgot we.
I don't remember where we were either. Like, I certainly know that wherever we were, it should not have taken us to talking about taking care of shit. But either way, I think we were just talking about like the league in general, and I guess talking about users and stuff, and to that end, talking maybe about the draft order. I know we touched on it a little bit in terms of who's picking where. I know we were talking about divisions of wanting to keep them the same, and I had the thought, and this is a stupid thought and it won't happen, but I was like, maybe we should do like a side project of TSR where it's another league.
Don't you talk about doing a feeder league, you piece of shit.
No, it's not a feeder league at all. It's the same. It's a clone league. Fuck feeder leagues. I've said it, like I'll say it. Fuck feeder leagues. It's a clone league where we copy TSR and we do a sister league that's the same users where we do have to stay in the same divisions next cycle. Could be different teams, or maybe it's even the same division literally. You can pick a different team within that division, but you have to stay within that division. I know it won't happen, but again, I liked the people that I played in the NFC East. You guys talked about loving playing each other in the NFC South and wish that you got more time doing it together with that division. Shit, Doc, you and Filthy were talking about running it back just even right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, that'd be fun. Obviously, it's not really tenable because, well, no, it's not the best. First of all, no one would commit to it. Secondly, not all of the same users are going to be returning. So what we really need to do is just make these same rivalry bonds with the people that we're going to play against in the next cycle. And pump that up and talk about it.
I mean, there's certain people, obviously, who are going to have the opportunity, like, if they really want to run it back, you know what I mean?
Right.
Sure.
Like,
there'll be the opportunity to run it back in a division.
That's the beauty of team draft, exactly. So, like, let's say, just throw a random team out there. Let's say I pick the Cardinals at 6 if they're there, right? And, Doc, what I know we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. We should get into the numbers soon here because we're like keep leaning.
Doc
into
is picking
it
at
heavy.
16.
It's 16. Let's say any of those guys.
I'm at a good spot, bro. If I can come up with my dream division, like based off of scheduling is top notch, gameplay, and scheduling and gameplay, bro. I'd probably pick because I'm picking after all you guys. So it'd be like filthy, probably Freight. And probably double rice no bean. Or I would like to play Bomber. I've never played Bomber. I've always heard about it. I've seen him in the Super Bowl. I've seen him at SML. I would like to be in a division with Bomber, Filthy, and Freight. I think that'd be a dope division. Honorable mention double rice no bean, but that'd be cool, and that's the beauty of me picking at 16. It's not too bad where I won't get like some boo boo team, but I still be able to see who's where, But
yeah, Well,
Man, when you're picking divisions, it's a balance too. Like you don't want to go to some sweet division, like we was just talking about with Bomber. I'm not saying this is what happened with him, but you get into the playoffs, man, you got to be ready to like hit that gear. And like sometimes when
Hmm.
you're coasting through the regular season, it's super hard to just get into that mode and turn it on. Like, and you got to be able to adjust. It's a whole different thing. So I like to get into somewhat competitive divisions, but I don't like to get in like bloodbaths either.
Hmm.
But based off scheduling and gameplay, yeah, that's gonna be cool to see when it comes time for the team draft.
for sure. All right, do we want to talk about the team draft a little bit? Talk about
Yeah,
where
I mean,
everyone's.
let's take a look at it.
Okay.
You want to go ahead and lead that off, or
Yeah. Think I can put up the Discord result, and it's gonna. Yeah, it's gonna overlap everything right here, so we're good to go. This is just the Discord announcement that has the full team draft order. So, from top to bottom, picking 1 down to technically 29 because we're not a full league yet, but anybody that joins will just be 30 through 32. Mad Bomber is going to be picking number 1. J Smooth picks number 2. Double Rice No Bean number 3. Hive Raven number 4. It's the Faz number 5. Filthy, my boy, picks number 6. Little Noobs is 7. Dark is number 8. Game Buster is number 9. Freight Train Shane, number 10. Fink Alex is number 11. Hova is 12. Coach Seals is 13. Lando is 14. T-Bone 319 is 15. Doc, you're picking at 16. Tiny Titan is picking at 17. Jonesy picks 18. Bloom King picks 19. Q Pierce picks 20. I pick 21. Fig Newton picks 22. Gouda picks 23. X Evans picks 24. Noble picks 25. Pomp Daddy is 26. Cap is 27. Lions in the House is 28. And DJ Loves Turbo is 29. Again, 30, 31, and 32 are just, they're not in the league yet. We're not completely full as of now.
I'm
No,
excited, man. That
it's
fucking we
gonna be
got.
some comp, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be some comp next year, boy. I'm trying to
I'm
tell you.
excited. I want to see what my guy Corey, man, Lions in the House. He's coming back after a year off of Madden, dude. So I'm interested to see how rusty he is. Like, cause he was a consistent playoff guy. Like, he's gonna be picking late. He's gonna have to develop a team. But I was already talking to him. I was like, hey, bro, these are the leagues we were always talking about, dude. The kind of ones that go from Madden to Madden, like. You'll have time to actually do something here. So I'm interested though how rusty he's gonna be coming off of a year where he didn't play at all.
Yeah.
Well, here's the beautiful thing about it, man. I don't know if you guys played the beta, but
I
this is
did,
not
yeah.
the same. It's the same Madden, but it's like what worked in this one is not gonna work
Mm-hmm.
on the next one, bro. It's gonna be so beautiful because you're not gonna see these big one play touchdowns. Like guys gonna have to really have their own identity. They're gonna have
Defense.
to come up with scheme. Yeah, the defense finally works. Like some guys who are good this year are gonna be trash next year,
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not.
Oh, I
And
100% agree with it, dude, because their one touchdown fucking shit's not gonna work anymore. Like your
so,
defenders actually snap into coverage. Pass rush, I know they nerfed it a little bit, is still even better than it was this year. Like, for those of us who like to fuck around with the D line here and there.
honestly though, where it's heading based off the beta, I think it's gonna be a running Madden. I think a lot of guys are gonna start off running until they get the hang of that. A lot of guys gonna
Mm-hmm.
be intimidated by the passing thing, which is not that bad. It's really kind of you can kind of do it on 22. What a lot of guys don't know, you can do the same thing on 22, but I think it's gonna start out with a running Madden. But man, the defense is gonna be beautiful. So what we're going to play with, coming out, starting off is going to be the whole time and all that stuff. But man, I really think everybody's got a clean slate going into 23, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that. I think that it's I don't know, every season it's different and better this year, and then it's just not. But I think enough. Here's like the one what I really in the thing that I would love to see the most is a legitimate like playbook change where it's just different fucking plays. And I understand
You're
that.
gonna get that this year, though.
Am
man,
I? Because you've told me that the last 3 fucking
No,
years.
no,
And it's
that
just...
I've never brought up any differences in the playbook,
All
sir.
right,
Don't
all
you
right.
dare put words in my mouth. I've been a
Okay.
Madden sympathizer for a long time, but I ain't never lied about nothing that they fucking changed.
Mm,
Facts. I'm always the guy that's like, oh, this Madden, it ain't that bad. Like, this kind of the best Madden,
Exactly.
blah, blah, blah.
right.
Until it gets
And you
ruined
guys are
by
both
YouTube.
fucking Simpson. You're wrong. It's trash. And the only reason we play this piece of garbage game is because 2K stopped making Madden, like NFL games. Look me in the eyes right now and tell me we'd be playing NFL, like EA Madden, if NFL 2K was still being made. Tell
Are
me.
you to know that 2K would be any better, though, at this
Because
current
it
Yeah.
was
time?
better, and because frankly, 2K NBA smokes the shit out of it. Is NBA Live even still around? Do they even make that game anymore?
They tried. They tried to come back, and it was like, nah, we can't do it.
Right,
We can't hang.
right. Because
So
that's what EA games do up against 2K games. 2K NBA 2K literally ran NBA Live out of business. So yes, I'm very confident that if 2K made an NFL game, that it would be better than Madden. That's not the world we live in. I'm just saying, this game fucking sucks every year, and we play it because it's the only NFL video game that's around. So we make the best of it, right? The game sucks, but it sucks for everybody equally, generally speaking. Couple games that I've played. But, I'm saying, it's a bullshit game, but it's bullshit for everybody. So that's why we play it. We love the NFL and we love video games. That's why we're here. But don't fucking, don't give me hope.
all right,
Anyhow.
just wait and see, man. They
Um,
cleaned it up, bro.
Yeah. He didn't
Did you
play
play
the
the
beta.
beta?
He played
All
one
right, so
game at
you,
my house. He played
yeah,
one
you're not
game at
gonna
my house
understand.
versus
and I was hammered as hell.
You're not
when
gonna
I played
understand.
it. Like,
Well, your hammered self was like, wow, this is way cleaner. I remember, sir.
yeah, because I was hammered.
I'm
but
telling you, man.
listen, hey,
I played it.
it's fine. I'm gonna buy it and play it, and I hope the things are changing. I do agree.
You gonna get that early release?
Yeah. I'm
You
fucking
ordered the game
idiot.
yet?
Like, yeah, I'm gonna get the early release. Like, I hate myself for it. I don't want to even talk. I hate myself so much. I don't even want to talk about it. But yes, I'm gonna do it. it's
I've just accepted the Stockholm syndrome.
it's regrettable. But
Yeah,
to your point
pretty
though,
much.
Doc, I do think that there'll be some difference, and there will be, like stylistically and in terms of player movement and stuff like that. Like, I think it'll change enough that there will be guys that fall off. Here's the other thing though. I think the people that are gonna fall off are gonna be the people that like just relied too much on one mechanic or something like that. I think like your good users, the truly good users, are gonna be able to adapt. And frankly, I'm not gonna like. I mean, not that I was good last year, but like I'm not saying that I'm gonna be as good next year. Because frankly, I'm not as good on the sticks as a lot of these guys in this league. I just don't think I am. I'm a timing guy. I'm a concept guy. Things like that, like plays that don't work and like when they should work and stuff like that. That's how I rely on things. But like, no, I'm not as good on the sticks as a lot of the people that I'm in this league against, and I know that. Right? They're better and they'll be better at making natural just reaction time plays. Whereas I design my offense specifically more on timing and on like kind of like what Filthy does on concepts and stuff like that should be open. And if I know a guy's got like a stupidly good middle linebacker coverage, I just try and avoid it. Like, I'm not fucking with that. Yeah, he's going to make me look like a fool. So I'm just not going to throw to him. I'll throw to the outside. I'll throw shallow. I'll throw deep. I'll do whatever I can to avoid that middle, like the middle yardage, middle of the field. If somebody has a crazy good middle linebacker, like I'll just avoid it because I'm not going to fuck with it. And
I think you're gonna love it, man.
all right, well,
Simple as that.
I hope
If you
so
think
too.
about it, bro, this Madden that we had and the time clock that we had, we probably had what five drives at the most in a game. So anybody that's got their go-to plays, let's say they got three go-to plays, that's gonna be a touchdown, and they're scoring quick. You know what I'm saying? It caters to the guy that has those, those set plays that they're doing instead of putting together actual drives. Like
Yeah.
Madden 23, I think is gonna be the cycle of guys that can put together drives, whether it be running the ball, whether it be dinking and dunking, whatever.
The question
But
is, will it solve for the fact that I could put together a drive like a motherfucker, but I just threw interceptions in the red zone, also like a motherfucker.
No, that's because you throw into double coverage and make terrible decisions
Yeah,
with the football.
I
That's
do.
that's on you to change.
I'm the opposite of clutch. Like it's
yeah,
bad.
that's like Jameis Winston.
Literally,
You know,
dude. I run back the tape on last year. Like if you just took like the red zone out of my drives and you watched my streams, you'd be like, this man had to go 12-5 at worst every season. But then you have to finish. That's the thing about it.
yeah, yeah.
But no,
Yeah, and it came down to turnovers.
yeah. Oh,
Like
absolutely.
guys who turned the ball over, they lost the games. Like
Yeah.
Super Bowl, for example, Bomber had three turnovers. He was fighting an uphill battle from jump. So it's
Yeah.
like if you got more time and the defense is doing what it's supposed to do, you actually have a chance to get guys off of the field, like in real Madden. Like I mean, real life, like how many teams in real life are just scoring every single drive? Like it
It
doesn't work
never
like that.
happens that way.
So
Mm.
It's rare
uh,
games where that happens.
I think you're gonna be pleasantly surprised, man. But that's
No,
maybe I am a Madden simp, you know.
I think
But
at this point, anybody that defends Madden, God bless them. Um, there's, there's something they say down in the South. Bless your heart. Like, um,
yeah,
but again, like I talk all that shit. I still buy it. Like, again, it's I can't. I'll never stop saying it. Like I really enjoy gaming. I enjoy this community, especially like this community specifically. I'm really excited for. Like honestly, TSR is the reason that I'm legitimately gonna like pre-order the game to buy the extra like 3 days of playing the shit or whatever. Like I was early in the podcast, I said like I'm gonna buy some like I'm digital on PS5, so I'm gonna have to use a code, and I'll buy somebody's like secondhand code off of eBay. I won't give my money to EA because fuck them. Literally, just this season and the way that it ended for me specifically, like just being so close to the playoffs and not making it made me really fucking hungry for next season. And so, yeah, I'm gonna fucking give my money to EA like a dumbass, and I'm gonna get the game early, and I'm gonna be getting games in, and I'm gonna be trying to figure out what works, like figure out those concepts, figure out what's changed, what I need to adjust for my game for the next Madden, and I'm gonna fucking do it because like doesn't matter what team I end up taking at 21, I'm gonna need that team to win eventually. At 21, realistically, probably not picking a
yeah.
winner in year one. But the beauty of this is I've got more than 2 seasons. So the next cycle is going to be 5 or 6 seasons. And I'm going to have a team that can compete eventually. And that's for damn sure.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you now, the guys that you see in the conference championships and the Super Bowls, they're doing that. They getting an early release. They doing all that stuff early and figuring it out. Some of the guys that you see that, stay at the bottom, they kind of just load up and play. And I mean, that's life.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it. So, um, and you'd be surprised too at 21. I don't think, especially with some of these guys being in SML, I think some of the guys that's in SML, they're going to take those high teams that they really want to take, and they might even take like a different team that they wanted to try and hear, or vice versa. But you'll be surprised who's going to come to 21 and shoot. At my spot at 16, I might get a solid team at 16, but we'll see. That's going
Well,
to be dope.
and like any team that you pick is going to be a solid team once you have the time to make them what you need. Like, and that's sort of like before I even looked at rosters, I sort of this was before rosters were even like released, I was thinking to myself like what the tiers of teams would be. And it's like there's probably going to be the ready now teams that are just going to win. And the premium of those would be teams that are like somewhat young. So like you could pick a team that's like going to win now, but it's also somewhat young. So I'm thinking like a Bills. The Bills are fairly young, right? They're competitive now. They'll also be competitive in 4 seasons.
Such a sexy team.
They're a sexy
Such
team.
a
They
sexy
should
team.
be up at the top, right? And then you're gonna have teams that are maybe they've got a young quarterback, but they're not competitive now. But quarterback is like your most important piece, and you've got a guy you think you can play with. So nothing jumps to mind immediately, just because I'm not thinking of it. But like I'm sure there are teams out there where it's like, okay, you can build around that. And then there are teams in the middle, like, so I think there's plenty of teams that are, so somewhere between, like, there's young win now teams, and then there's win now teams that I think will go higher up. And then, like, also going higher up are the super young and raw teams. Those will go higher up as well. And then in the middle of the pack,
Like
it's
your
going to
Lions.
be middle of the pack teams. You might have a quarterback that can win now, but with not all the pieces around him. Or a middle of the pack team might be a team that has a decent team but no quarterback. Well, you can draft one or sign one or whatever. What has
I mean,
you.
I got the Bucks in here, shit, joining in the 20s when this first started. Like, that's the kind of thing I'm looking at, is you're going to have a team like that because you have all the questions about Brady. How long is he going to play? How long is he going to play in this Madden? You know what I mean? And then how hard does he fall off? But then the whole rest of the nucleus of that team is the Mud Bucks.
Right. Oh, like,
Hmm.
dude, if I
Like,
don't,
I lucked out getting them in a 2-year league, dude, because I didn't even have to worry about what I was going to do about Brady.
Yeah. Another team like that is like the Colts. The Colts are like that.
if the Colts, if
The
the Colts are
Packers are
still
like
around at
that.
21, you guys are stupid. Like, it won't, they won't be. Like, fucking bet. Like, give me the Colts at 21. It won't happen. It won't happen.
The Colts would be a hard team for me to not take at 6.
Right. There's no shot that they'll be around the 21. I think.
I can't do the jerseys, bro. I can't do the white and the blue all year
Mm,
long. Like
Yeah, they
the
do
Colts, the Raiders.
they do have some boring ass jerseys
I'm not
though.
about to do that, dog. I got to switch it up.
I do like the
So
silver and black though. I do like me some Raiders
yeah,
jerseys.
Raiders jerseys are good.
Also,
it's
you
like
know they I didn't realize they got a ton of cap space, by the way.
the Raiders.
Yeah, from what I was looking at
Yeah,
today.
until they have to pay Devontae.
Oh yeah, their defense kind of young. That's right.
Mm-hmm. It's because they have a bunch of young pieces is the thing.
Hmm.
I'll send it to you too, man. Fuck it. Like, there's a little. I found this little spreadsheet, man. Somebody made where they
Oh,
like broke down all the
don't,
teams, and
don't
it's nice.
talk about the spreadsheet on the podcast, motherfucker. We're not. No, because then people gonna be like, "Remember when I was nice to you?" Like, no, man, fuck that shit. You can do your own research. Like,
That hard to
no,
Google.
Ixay on the Ukraine.
Everybody on that T4 vert stuff anyway. That's all over. That's all over Twitter and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
T4 verts.
But I know what works for me, so I don't typically look at that. Like it's certain teams I'm just not gonna run with. But
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, sitting at the middle range, I'm looking at like your Commanders. I'm looking at your the Bengals. Hopefully, I would love the Bengals to drop, but I doubt it. But the Steelers would be a good one at 16. Like some of those teams already got like a solid defense around them, and I can just worry
Mm-hmm.
about the offense. Yeah, man, I'm straight.
And
So
it's interesting because there's so many wildly different theories and like ways that people play, right? So it's like I look for if ideally, and I don't care, like whatever, show my hand, whatever the fuck. The thing that I think is the most valuable thing in Madden is a good offensive line. Because you basically can't draft it. You can't, like, unless you draft it early, because they are slower than fuck to develop unless you've got a league that's got good XP sliders for it. Your offensive linemen don't develop, and look when you do develop them. You'll pick, like, because you can't
yeah,
select specific attributes, you pick pass blocking, and it gives you 1 to run block strength. And you're like, well, thank you for fucking nothing. Like, offensive linemen are the hardest thing to develop. So if you can get a good, young, talented offensive line, I think that is far away the most important thing. And they don't have to be loaded. But, like, it's hard to draft them with any sort of regularity. It's almost impossible to sign them in free agency because people that have good offensive linemen fucking re-sign them religiously. And the CPU does the same thing. So it's like, that is, I think, that's the most important thing. Like, if I look back at my Eagles team, they had a solid offensive line. I did well with that team. Relatively, I mean, like, I finished like 8-9 or 9-8 or something. It wasn't great, but like, I had good moments, right? And that was largely because that team was talented in the front, both offensively and defensively. And here's the thing. And you can, like, good users, so, Jonesy's a great example. Who the fuck was his, like, primary target in the Super Bowl?
Rico Gafford.
Right, Rico Gafford.
Gafford.
Well,
Dahmer
if you
did a
look
great
at
job of taking him away.
Aaron Jones also had 4 receptions for 110 yards and like 2 touchdowns.
Right.
That was the other thing on the Super Bowl. Dahmer was kind of, I don't know if he was focused on taking away Rico Gafford, but he only had like maybe 1 or 2 catches. And that's why Aaron Jones had a monster game.
I'm still in the thing. I can pull it up and see how many Rico had from that game.
Yeah, he did a good job of shutting down. He had like 1 big play.
Yeah, but Rico Gafford was a rookie, I think, that year. Right?
Gafford had 1 reception for 62 yards and a touchdown. Right. Emmanuel Hall actually had 5 for 44. He had the most receptions, followed by Aaron Jones, who had 4 for 110. MVS had 3 for 44. Robert Tonyan had 3 for 32. Yeah, Gafford only had 1 for 62 yards. It did go for a touchdown. But honestly, the other 2 passing touchdowns went to Aaron Jones.
But it's because he was focusing Gafford, right?
Yeah. Like, to me, honestly, Aaron Jones is the MVP of that game, dude. 100.
Well, he was, literally, wasn't he?
No, like I'm pretty sure he should have been.
I don't know. I mean, Rodgers the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Rodgers
he went full Tom Brady.
158.3 game, like.
Wait, he had a what?
Rodgers threw a perfect game. He was 158.3.
Well, then
on the QBR.
So then I thought Jonesy said that Aaron Jones was the MVP, but there's no way that Madden wouldn't have given Aaron Rodgers the MVP for that game.
Nah, it was like it looked good on Aaron Rodgers, but like it was all dump offs, and then like Aaron Jones had jukebox or whatever he got, and he would make like 1 or 2 guys miss, and he off to the house. So it's like Aaron Jones did his thing, but I think to your point though is that he had to focus on a guy named Rico Gafford, which nobody really knows who that is, and so it's like.
But Jonesy had used that guy to be a great wide receiver,
right?
Like, if you can have how many Madden All-Stars have terrible overalls because of their raw stats, but their awareness is shit because Madden super overvalues awareness. Like, it's just. I think that you can have a team that has a solid front, like, on both sides of the ball, with raw stats across the board. Like, you can, I guess I think the least valuable positions in terms of overall, at least, are wide receivers, because you can turn anybody into an amazing wide receiver. Like, if they have good, like, their overall might be dragged down by their awareness. Nobody gives a shit, right? If the guy's got good, if a guy has good height, good speed. That's kind of all they need to be at least serviceable, and some people can use those wide receivers to be insanely good. Every other stat doesn't matter at that point. But what you can't replace is what you don't control and what you have no control over, which is your offensive line. You will never, like, the most that you can do is have them, like, shift one way or the other. But, like, everything else is out of your control. You can't manipulate it much. And those guys just have to win their blocks.
I agree solely because I feel like on the beta, O-line, they were getting tore out the frame. And it's like, you're going to need an O-line. And that's just anyway. I'm always a big O-line guy, but like I feel like this is the year where you're not just gonna be able to grab a speed guy and do what you want to do with it. Like I feel like the release is gonna matter, the strength is gonna matter, all of that stuff. Um, so I don't know, bro, but I think J Daw's kind of caught him on the late pick, but I'm telling you, he's gonna get a solid team with 21. And if you're looking at O line, that's a good way to start too.
Oh yeah.
But
No, I'm not. I'm not like. I'll see. I'll see where the chips fall. That's where I'm looking right now. Right. So the nice thing about 21 is that you can kind of zoom back a little bit, right, and just take stock of who's doing what. Then it does become the thing about 21 that's nice is that you do, to your point, and that we talked about earlier. We're talking about divisions and where you want to play for one reason or another. When you're picking at 21, you got a good sense of where people are going, right? At 21, all the people that I want to play, that I don't want to play, whatever the fuck it is, those people have already drafted. You know, you're picking at 21. Like, no offense, but if you're behind me, I don't give a fuck about you. Like, that's not who I'm concerned about. You're not active in the league or whatever the hell else, or you're new.
Or you're new.
You could be new,
I
and
was
so
gonna say
that might be
behind
somebody.
you. There's
Could be somebody
three new
that's a
people in
wild
the
card,
league.
right? Like maybe somebody is gonna smoke the fucking shit out of me, and I don't even know that because I've never played them. Like that could be a thing. But
Yeah.
all the people that I know that I'm familiar with, they're all picking ahead of me. So it's like I can actually see where those chips are falling, and get a good sense of what I want to have to deal with. So
are there any teams you just can't run with like at all?
I can't play with the Green Bay Packers or the
Yeah.
Minnesota Vikings. I'm a diehard Chicago Bears fan, and I just cannot do it. I cannot do it. I
That makes
also,
sense.
I also, as much as I hate this, I can't take the Bears at 6.
Dog,
because they're
they
trash.
left fields with nothing, dog. Like I don't know
Yeah.
what they doing.
Dude, it's gonna be a long couple of years, man. Honestly, I, I'm gonna say it right now. I believe the Chicago Bears have the number one or two. They'll have a top 2 pick next year. I think they're gonna be that bad.
I love it.
They're gonna be last in the division, huh?
Yeah,
Oh, behind the
I think
Lions.
I think the Detroit Lions will finish better than the Chicago Bears.
You really
will this
believe
year.
that?
Yeah, I really do. I think we'll have a top 2 pick.
I mean, hey, it's possible, bro. Like,
I'll take it. We need it. We need it as a franchise.
You need new ownership. A high pick won't change that.
No.
Because you're
'cause
just
I
gonna
don't
run
think Fields is
another
that
quarterback
bad.
into the fucking
No,
ground.
no, I don't want them to take a quarterback that high.
No, what I'm saying
I-
is you're gonna run Justin Fields into the ground. The way that you have every other competent quarterback that's ever stepped into Chicago in the last 40 years.
I have a question. Why is your quarterback allowed to do DMT, but people can't smoke pot? Well, couldn't.
Listen, hey, listen.
Who doing
I
DMT?
Or like fucking why is
Do you
Aaron
understand I'm
Rodgers
wearing a
allowed to
Colorado
go to-
Rockies jersey
why
right
is-
now?
why is
You
Aaron
cannot ask
Rodgers
me about
allowed
drug
to go to
use. I don't
South
have a good
America
answer.
and fucking do ayahuasca and shit, but fucking Martavius Bryant and Josh Gordon lost their whole career.
Aaron Rodgers doing DMT?
Oh, you didn't see that article? He came out and
Nah,
said that
bro.
he's been going to South America the past 2 years, dude, and doing fucking peyote and shit. And it like spiritually changed his life, and that's why he won 2 back-to-back.
He's got a
MVPs.
religious exemption for it.
That is, oh my
What?
fucking god, dude! I'm gonna get it a religious exemption, so I don't have to pay taxes then.
You
Because
should.
like that shit is so fucking.
Okay, so let me
So
let
goofy.
me just
So
I need to
goofy.
go on record and say that I don't know or even think that he has a religious exemption for it, but I do know that there is precedent based off Supreme Court cases for a religious exemption for certain drug uses. Not that's relevant to this conversation, and also, why are you trying to deflect? You're attacking Aaron Rodgers when we're talking about how fucking shit and garbage the Bears organization is. Like that's the best you've got. I'm just saying. What I will say is this. I think it's I do hate the Bears. Well, I don't hate. Here's the thing. I don't hate the Bears anymore because there's nothing to hate. It's more like it's actually this came up on the Packers subreddit today. It was like, I really hope the Bears aren't like terrible this year because at this point it'll be hard to hate them instead of just pity them because they've been so awful. And that guy even said, he was like, I missed the games when like it was close. Like we still beat them because the Bears have beaten the Packers for the last like 2 decades. Period. There were a few off years, whatever, but like by and large, but like the better games were the close games. And it's like, yeah, no, I don't want them to be bad again. Yeah, keep drinking as we talk about this because it's not good for you. But I'm saying, you say you couldn't take the Packers. I'll tell you what, I could take the Bears. Because it's a rivalry, right? But there's respect. It goes way back, obviously. The Packers wouldn't exist if it weren't for Hallis. Right? We all know this. So there's a certain respect there. But in terms of the rivalry, no, like it's not a rivalry anymore. It's just I just pity them. It's pathetic at this point. And so yes, I could take the Bears. If the Bears are around to 21, I'd have to actually look at it. Because Justin Fields, is a Madden. I don't think Justin Fields. It depends. I think he's got the potential, but again, I don't have any reason to believe that as a Bears quarterback he will ever amount to anything because there hasn't been a Bears quarterback to do that in 30 years. And I think it's a systematic problem. I really do. I think that Justin Fields could succeed with a lot of teams. I don't think he will succeed with the Bears. But
30 years. Oh, you're giving Jim McMahon way more credit than he should get, dude. I had to count in my head real quick. I was like, oh, really? Okay.
You were like, how far back was it when Sid Luckman was the quarterback?
Yeah.
But so to that point, like,
was terrible.
I could take, because again, whether or not Fields develops in real life, I don't think he will. Again, just I'm pessimistic, but I don't think I've seen.
Well, no, I'm gonna go with what fucking Doc's saying right here about like I think what we saw out of Fields last year wasn't what you're gonna see this year, dude. Like he was in an offensive system with a guy who literally thought he was the smartest. He reminds me of when Mike Martz was Chicago's offensive coordinator. He legitimately thought he was the smartest dude in the room when none of his shit worked. He did not design his fucking offense around his goddamn players whatsoever. After the fucking second year with Mitch, he called for a fucking meeting to sit down and talk to him about the playbook. Nagy ghosted him. They talked about that on the exit interview, dude.
That's who Chicago hires to be their offensive coordinators, and I'm so glad that you brought up Mitch. They mishandled the fuck out of Mitch
100%.
Trubisky.
They 100% mishandled Mitch.
They mishandled
the Trubisky's a franchise quarterback
out of Justin Fields. What? You didn't draft a franchise quarterback at number 3 overall?
I thought he was. Time out. I thought Mitch was when they drafted him. He did not pan out to be a franchise.
It's because they didn't utilize him or develop him at all.
Okay, he's not going to come out and tear up Pittsburgh either, though. I don't see that being the case.
He's going to put better numbers up in Pittsburgh than he ever put up in Chicago. I'll bet you
money
on that.
He didn't put up god-awful numbers in Chicago, man.
And he'll still put up better numbers in Pittsburgh because they know how to run a fucking bootleg.
Well, I fucking agree with you, but I don't think he was the Chicago Bears fucking savior by any means either, and he damn sure won't be the savior of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They didn't draft a quarterback in the first fucking round to run with Mitch Trubisky for the next 8 fucking years. You can't tell me that to begin with. Whether Kenny Pickett's the guy long term or fucking not. You don't draft a quarterback in the first fucking round to not utilize him unless you're the goddamn Green Bay Packers and you fuck up.
Well, I didn't say he was going to be the savior of the franchise. I just said he put up better numbers than he ever did for the Bears because I think that's true because the Bears misutilized the fuck out of him. And since you wanted to bring up Jordan Love, yeah, I will say this. They drafted Jordan Love and they got back-to-back MVP seasons out of their quarterback as a result. So, I don't truly know what the fuck is going on with Jordan Love as a Packers fan. Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. But certainly the offense wasn't worse for drafting Jordan Love because they did well. But that's not what we're talking about right now. I don't know how. Well, it's my fault. I'll admit. I prodded this conversation.
I was asking, who would you not run
Yeah.
with? Like, who could you not play?
So who could I not play? I get the division hate, but like this for me, this is Madden. So if I'm seeing a team again, Madden Bears, I think I could like I don't. Well, I don't. I'll have to see. Who knows? That might be a team that I take at 21 if they're still around. I'd have to look at it more. I haven't looked. I will be honest. I have not looked at a whole lot.
They'll be there, and honestly, they're set up to have like $100+ million in cap.
Yeah, but and I haven't looked at like top to bottom.
Yeah.
Where things are, but I do know Madden Justin Fields is serviceable at worst. I think he's a good Madden quarterback, and I think he's young enough to be developed. And it would depend on cap space and their other supporting talent. Other unplayable, like my absolute untouchables as a diehard Packers fan would traditionally be the Bears and the Vikings. I don't think I could say that for the Vikings. I don't think they'll be there, but like Dalvin Cook is a cheat code in Madden. And I think they've got a good enough team built that I'd be surprised if they get to me at 21. But either way, like let's say I was picking 1-1. If we're talking about my unplayable teams, I don't think that there's a team just based off of name or reputation alone that I can't play as. One of those teams might be the Rams just because I had them when I took them over in SML Primer. They were the most dog shit Madden team I've ever played with ever, period.
Yeah.
It was awful. And
they're rough on Madden.
Maybe because of that, that's an unplayable team for me. But like I don't think like because again I'm a diehard Packers fan. I hate the Bears, but like that wouldn't stop me from taking them. It's no different than, dude, the one money league that I won big money in fantasy football, I was years ago, and was when Matt Forte was the running back on the Bears, and I picked him.
Oh yeah, he was crazy. Yeah,
it was the same year that Ben Roethlisberger had like back-to-back games throwing like 5 or more touchdowns, and he threw 7 touchdowns in that one game or some shit like that. No, it was back-to-back 5 touchdown games. Ben Roethlisberger was my quarterback, Matt Forte was my running back. It was the year before Forte went to the Jets, and Forte just popped the fuck off for Chicago.
Yeah, he was going crazy.
He was going crazy, and like the Bears didn't do anything, but Forte was just on fire, and. That year, I won.
The season I think you're talking about, he caught like 122 passes or something.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I said, I was like, listen, I think that year, and that's a hill that I'll die on. Everyone was waiting for that in this podcast. I think that Matt Forte was the best all-around football or the best all-around halfback in football that year. And I think probably for several years, he was the best all-around halfback in football. Because
on all three aspects of running, passing, and blocking.
And blocking, because blocking was the thing that he never got enough credit for. He was he was insanely good pass catching out of the backfield. He was a really good running back, and he fucking never fucked up a blocking assignment when it came to it in pass blocking. Matt Forte was as good of a running back as any coach could have wanted for about a 3-year span. And I had him the year before he went to the Jets, when he hit free agency because the Bears wouldn't pay their running backs. I remember that.
Yep.
The year before that, when he earned that giant contract, was the year that he fucking earned me like a fantasy football championship. And I remember because my mom, who's also a diehard Packers fan, was like, "I can't believe that you're rooting for a Bears player on Sunday." And I'm like, "Mom, they only play the Packers twice a year, and even in those games, I hope we win by like 3 points, but they put up a bunch of points and so do we, and Matt Forte gets like 4 touchdowns. Like, it's fine as long as we win." Like, I can root for a Bears fan. I can root for a Bears player if he's on my fantasy team, and for me, it's the same way in Madden. It's like, yeah, I could take the Bears. Like, there's no emotional. There used to be like, I don't want to play the Packers. Now I don't care. It's like, if this is the good team and it's a good fit, it's the right situation, sure, I'm going for it regardless. There was that time, Filthy, when we had that league where I was the Packers and you were the Bears, and I loved that. And that league never went anywhere, and I wish that it would have, because that would have been an awesome rivalry and like the actual fandom. But like, I truly don't think. I'm sure if I looked at rosters, if I were looking at rosters right now, there'd be a couple teams that'd be like, yeah, I can't fucking take that. But I don't believe. And again, I'm sorry because I feel like at least 20 minutes ago, if not more, you asked me if there was a team I couldn't play, and here we are.
Hey,
But I'd have to look at
all
rosters.
good, all good.
But I don't think that there is a team that I don't think I'll be forced to take a team at 21 that I would say I can't take that team. I think that if I
Yeah,
were to actually look at rosters, to boil this down really simply, if I were to look at rosters and cap space and draft capital, I think I would have to be picking. In fact, like I think there. I think again I haven't looked at these things, but I think there'd probably be two or three teams that I would say I absolutely cannot play those teams. So I'm not concerned that there will be a team at 21 that I'm like, man, this really fucking sucks. Whoever I pick at 21, there'll be something that I hone in on that I'm like, this is the strength of the team. Maybe it's minimal, but this is what I can make the focal point of this team, and I have to build around it.
yeah, and it's gonna be to me. I don't ask them much. You just have a good defense, have a decent running back, like somebody like David Montgomery. I cannot do. I can't start off with a Montgomery. He's serviceable, but like I feel like on this Madden you're gonna need a solid running back, a good O line, and a good defense. And there's plenty of teams coming in that 15 to 25 range that can do that. And then, like I said, guys are going to take certain teams. Like there's certain guys I know, like Freight for sure is taking the Dolphins. You know, Bomber is probably going to go. He's not going to go Jets, but like he'll probably go Panthers or something. So then there's going to be teams that'll fall, like
Mm-hmm.
that'll go into that little sweet range. But like, so man, I'm looking forward to it, man. I think
Well,
when is the team draft?
it is the 27th. Yeah.
27th. Yeah, guys can
Yep.
get their hands on the game, see the devs and stuff. Like, it's gonna be crazy.
Hmm. So that's what I'm excited for at 6, is that I know some of these guys are going to take teams that I don't think they were going to take. You know what I mean? So, like, I've had a couple of teams I've had my eye on that now, like, I feel like I might be sitting there picking between two or three of them where I didn't think I was going to have that
Hmm.
luxury. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you're gonna have your hands on you're gonna get a good quarterback, and
Oh, yeah. I don't
yeah,
like
it's gonna be
developing
crazy.
quarterbacks, man. Let
I
me get a
can't
good
do it.
one. Let me get a good one. Let me go out there and just ball out and run my offense like I did with Brady. Um,
Yeah.
Now my question is though, is like this is the first year in a long time I had a pocket passing quarterback, and I did really fucking well with it. It's gonna be so hard for me to not want to go back to someone who can move and get outside that pocket a little bit better than Brady. But then at the same time, do I want to tinker with what was working? Because the fact that my quarterback couldn't run wasn't the thing that wasn't working in Tampa.
See, on the beta, contains work. You really can roll out
Yeah.
like all that stuff, like Kyler Murray and your Lamar's, all that stuff. It was kind
Mm,
of dead, and so you kind of have to. Which you should be. If you're gonna be scrambling or whatever, you need to be going between the tackles for the most part, unless you like dipping out. But like, I think if you're a good guy like you that understands concepts and stuff, you know, go with a guy that got the good accuracy. I think at the sixth range, you still got your top 10 quarterbacks. You
hmm.
know, Justin Herbert at worst. Well, Justin Chargers not dropping that far, but
I don't see the
you're gonna be
Chargers
straight.
being there at 6. There's a couple of
Yeah,
guys
they're
I see
ridiculous.
being there that like I'm excited for because they're young. They got good teams around them. Like, and then all I have to do is really come in and maintain. Like,
Hmm.
maintain, get a couple pieces here and there for some of these teams, but that's the biggest thing for me sitting at 6, and I know that'll be one of the biggest influences in my decision is who am I going to drop back with every play, who's under center every play, because
Yeah.
like I don't personally like to play the development game.
Yeah, and see me because Madden doesn't give running quarterbacks any love. Like, and I know I'm known
Mm-mm.
as the read option guy or whatever.
Oh, dude, me and you were on
Um,
the same boat with the read option.
yeah,
Dude, NCAA 14, I ran a spread
killing
read
it,
option fucking offense,
killing it.
brother. Exactly, dude. That spread
It's so
triple
fun.
option was it's so much fun, dude. So
So
much
I,
fun.
I'll be that. But I know when it comes to Devin guys on in Madden, they don't care nothing about what if
Mm-mm.
Cam Newton. If you trying to, they don't care nothing about running the football as
Oh
a
my
That's
quarterback.
why
god,
we're
bro. I
all
wanna
secretly so excited for NCAA football, right? Is if you want to run a spread option, guess what? There's gonna be so many freshmen you can just recruit to run that
Oh my
shit. Like,
god.
and we're gonna be fighting for them, but it's like that point where you're like, well, I won't get that guy, but there's this other guy I can go with. Like, we're good.
I loved
Mhm.
recruiting versus the draft, but that's a
Yeah,
conversation for a whole nother day.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's coming though. It's coming though.
Oh
it
well.
is coming. Oh Lord,
But
he coming.
what would you guys like to see in TSR moving forward though? Like in the next cycle, what would you guys like to see? I guess more of or less of, you know, from any
Bro,
standpoint.
I want to see more of the same. As neutral as that sounds, man, because like I
It's
think we got
fucking milk
such a
toast. That's that answer right there. Milk toast.
I think we got such a little taste of it. I think we had the first season where we had a whole bunch of guys in here, and some of those guys fizzled out. And then we got new guys in here like you, Doc, like Freight, like Bloom, like Zevins, my guy Cap and Lions in the house, DJ's in here now. So like I'm seeing some infusion of fresh people though that are perfect for the league, if that makes sense. Where like these guys are gonna be active, there's gonna be content, there's gonna be things to keep you entertained. Like obviously me and J Dog are doing our thing, but like we've said on this podcast, we're not the only ones that are producing content in here. So like
Yeah.
I'm just excited for all of that and to see it keep going and to see really where this league can grow because I really do think that we could all be super surprised here come this time next year when we're like, oh my god, we're a well established league that ran Madden to Madden. It went
Hmm.
good. We have more than a good core. We have an active user base. Bro,
Yeah.
I think it could be fucking phenomenal. Like I really do.
Dude,
And like it's reinvigorated because I've been so burnt out the past couple of years, man. I've been doing this online league thing, dude, since they introduced it. They introduced
Right.
it in Madden and NCAA at the same fucking time. I've done
Hmm.
year round basically since then. These past couple of years, floating through bullshit sim leagues like I've talked about, where like some are good, some are mediocre, but there's always bullshit. There's biasm. There's all this shit. This is like a breath of fucking fresh air compared to the bullshit I've waited to find this place.
Yep. Yeah. Completely agree, man. And I guess something that would kind of build on that would be like, and it already was there kind of organically, is when guys like just if say it's week 3, just a regular week, guys are watching other people's regular streams, you know what I'm saying? And people
mm-hmm,
know what's going on around the
mm-hmm.
league. It's small, but it's such a culture builder in the league. And then guys have their own identities. People know what each other's identities are. Like the Duck Kings thing, it does a great job of kind of infusing that because in order to pick your lineups, you got to know the guy's identity and what he likes to do,
Why?
Yep.
Why you think
stuff
Russell
like
Gage
that.
was getting picked so high in them fucking duck things by the
Exactly.
second
Like,
time? People realize is like, wow, Filthy fucking throws to
Somebody
him.
somebody came in my
mhm.
chat one time and they were like, I guess I fucked up picking Jalen Hurts this week, and I was like, you're goddamn right you did. What the fuck were you thinking?
What the fuck were you thinking?
Like like I try my best, but you know this shit's a coin flip at best.
Yeah, man. It's small, but it's a beautiful thing. Like, I think we just kind of keep that up. And who knows
Yeah.
what if Neon Sports get together and do their little stuff, the stuff they're talking about adding, like I think it's gonna be crazy. So
I'm a huge fan of Neon
Dude, Neon
Sports.
Sports is already
I've
the
never
best
used
kind of like
I've
website that
never
it
used
is.
it until this year, and
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
huge fucking
It's
fan of
already
it.
better than anything else that has tried to do what it's doing, in my opinion.
Mm.
And so it's
Hmm.
like, so even if it, like, the thing about Neon Sports is, even if it did nothing to be better next year, it'd still be the best. But if they do implement, like, and Neon Sports is in the kind of position where I do hope that it has some improvements, but I hope that they are, like, minor. Because the thing that the websites like Neon Sports tend to do is they try too hard. And it's like, no, you're already the best. Like, incremental
Hmm.
upgrades are welcomed and they're great, but don't overhaul it, because don't fix a broken thing. Just improve it a little bit over time. And like, I really hope that
Hmm.
that's what they do, because like I said, even if they didn't improve anything, they'd already start next year being the best website that provides the service that they do, and like head and shoulders above the other sites that I've used in the past.
Oh, and before we move on that note about TSR, man, I know some of the stuff that, and this may be a wish list or whatever, but like some of the stuff that Bomber does over at SML, I don't know if you guys checked it out, but like the content, the shows that he puts together at SML, man, if you brought some of that to TSR, it'll be, I'll be there, bro. It's good stuff.
Hmm.
If you guys check that stuff out, but like just small stuff like that. That's it. Just guys watching more of each other's games, knowing each other's identity, and then we kind of get a little bit more shows and stuff like this podcast is great. Freight show is great, and we get some
I
more,
gotta
quick shows in there.
I gotta get on Freight's show more often for
Yeah.
in here, man. Like I really do. I hopped on his very first one for Primer, and then I've been busy just every other time where I haven't. No, no, I did get on the one. I got on the one, yeah, where I talked about how I wasn't gonna be one and done in the playoffs, and I was one and done in the playoffs. So I proved everybody right. You
I know,
goddamn
bro. That's why
dumbass.
I picked you going through the Super Bowl off of that, bro.
I know, bro, and I thought I had it. I thought I had it, and I just it's a game of streaks. It's a game of streaks, man. And
Yeah, it is.
my streak was more in the beginning, middle of the season where I was running it. And then like towards the end, I started getting a little bit spotty, man. Like just not focusing on the little things, not playing my game.
You were
I'm
telling me
excited
about
for
Leonard Fournette, man.
oh dude. He had he had a 5 week period where he was like one of the best running backs in the league, and then it just went back to mediocrity.
Yeah, you put up like 200 on me the first game. I was like, God, dog.
Yeah, no,
And
you
I
were
don't get
part of that
ran on.
run, dude. I don't know what the fuck happened for 5 weeks, dude. Leonard LF7, bro, was the best running back in football. Like he was popping off for 153 to 4 touchdowns a game. Like that run right there. If I could have moved that to the fucking playoffs, that would have been beautiful.
Yep.
It wasn't meant to be this year. This whole Madden cycle, even before I was here, was the year of championships games, like AFC Championship, NFC Championship, shit like that. Like just sniffing, getting so fucking close, making the playoffs, and just not having it fall my way when I need it to.
Yeah,
Sometimes that's the way she
runs and
goes.
matchups. Runs and
Oh,
matchups.
runs and matches. So okay, I'm kind of interested. So who would be? And I know this gives away for anybody. This gives away the most for me. What would be if you guys had to pick 5 teams right now? You're on the clock. Who would you take?
If anywhere.
No, I would say sitting where you're sitting at right now with who you
Oh,
thought would be there. Who would you take?
All right,
all right. Well, I'll go
easy there,
first.
sir, because we're starting to bleed into what we need for content for a week from now.
Yeah, no, but
Remember,
this is just a gentle
okay, all
looking.
right, it's just gentle.
It's just me at little old
This is
16.
this is
It's
just
not gonna
this
hurt
is just
anything.
mild pandering at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah. At the 16 spot, I like the Vikings. I like the Saints. I like the Steelers. I like the Commanders. And then a good solid 15 that could probably fall to me would be probably the Titans, just because everybody's gonna run away from that wide receiver core. but I don't
Hmm.
pass like that anyway. So yeah, that would be my solid five. I'm sure I'm leaving out somebody, but I don't think the Falcons are gonna land there again. But I would go with the Falcons again too. Yeah, that's my five, real quick.
All right, Joel, who would yours be?
I I straight up don't even know that I have a five right now. Like I'm not even shitting you. Like I haven't looked into it enough. Like based off of, I mean, just based off of the last draft that we had. Um, who's even around? So like, the Raiders might be there. Maybe I think they're underrated.
They might,
They
they
might be.
might.
I think there's a chance. Um, well, hold on. Let me look at this last one because like I was not prepared for this whatsoever, and I also haven't thought about it a ton.
Seahawks too. Seahawks another good
Seahawks might
sleeper
be
team.
so
Seahawks are the rebuild team. That's the team with all the draft picks from that fucking Broncos trade. That
right.
also has DK Metcalf and some nice pieces over
So
there.
so the Seahawks will look insanely sexy if they're still there.
Hmm.
Um,
You won't compete year one, year two, but you get a quarterback, develop them, you'll be
yeah,
solid.
right. And so then the other teams that are like looking that they might be around there. Dude, it just really depends on it's like we talked about, right? There are likely to be picks that are just random up at the top because the
Mm.
guys that are good enough to know they can run with whatever team. And so if I'm looking at that range, I'm like, well, okay, so do I want to run it back with the Rams? Like no. But are they there? Do they look like they're in a position again? Well, probably not because they traded away their first round picks to the Lions.
See,
It,
Rams is a team that'll probably fall to you.
they will, but they have no draft capital.
Yeah, but you can turn around and sell pieces to make a draft capital.
You could. The Seahawks are definitely one of those teams. Other teams that are looking to fall back there, again, it just really depends on who's picking what. Like, honestly, where do the Browns go? Probably high.
Hey,
But,
bro,
like, I don't even, like, I guess I haven't thought about who's going to be available there. You guys tell me who you think the available teams at 21 would be.
it's gonna be your teams that are like in those divisions with a lot of talent,
Does
but like the last team,
you
like you
talked about
said,
the
the Raiders,
Steelers, right? So we don't think the
yeah,
Steelers are there.
Might be there.
You think they'll be there?
Um,
They're a potential team.
Steelers might because look, nobody wants to go to the division with Lamar, the Bengals, and the
Yeah,
Browns, so the Steelers,
fair.
people gonna get out of there. It's like stuff like that, like the Raiders,
The
the
Falcons
Steelers,
might be there.
the Falcons, one of those NFC North teams. That division gets passed over like crazy.
The
Mm.
Um,
Bears, not if the Lions are there. That's I have them in different
Lions
order.
The
won't be there.
Lions not going to be
Right, they're
there.
not going to be there.
Everybody in love with then Hard Knocks coming out this week, coming out the
Hell
Tuesday.
yeah.
Hmm.
Like
So
Lions not gonna be there.
Well, the
then
wide receiver too, man. I'm blanking on his name right now, which I shouldn't be. He's a kid from
Jameson
Alabama that got
Williams.
hurt.
Jameson
Yeah,
Williams. Yeah,
98 speed,
yeah,
96
dude's
excel.
busted.
Yeah.
That's oh my god, that's dirty. Like that's a team I would think about at 6.
I just can't stand Goofy Golf. Like
Well,
I can't do Jared Goff, bro.
and
I
that's
can't
the
do it.
one thing that scares me away from them is because obviously I would have to do the one thing I said I hate to do, which is develop a quarterback. I
Yeah,
mean, you can
Yeah.
give me like a quarterback in a second year and like that's a star and I'll develop him. But like, dude, that rookie season, sometimes man, this shit is so rough to get through with the plays they'll sell.
hmm
but then there's like to me, the Bucks could be around there. I don't think they will, but I think they could because of the things we talked about earlier, where people are just scared about what they're going to look like in
There's
2 years.
two things you're gonna get into with the Bucks. And I know they did fix it a little bit this off season, from especially the thing I was looking at. They did fix their cap was a huge issue, dude. And then you have to look into Brady. How many years until you get Brady at 84 throw power and shit and like all this stuff where it's starting to really affect him?
Brady, I'll I'll say this. It really depends on how competitive the team is, I feel, through 2 weeks. Because there is the potential that I would, like, petition the commissioner to just cut Brady. Because, and like, it sounds insane, but, like, if he's not a good enough quarterback, like, his overalls are always going to be insanely high. But, like, if his throwing power is ass, and that's not the way you can run an offense, no one will ever trade for him. It won't ever happen. And you might just want to rebuild with, like, whoever the fuck else.
Yeah.
And that would also, like, alleviate an insane amount of cap pressure. Depending on what his bonus is. I don't know what his contract looks like. But I'm just saying, if you take the Bucks in that range, there is life after Brady. Because you can just get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, there's a legitimate argument to say we're better off without him because of the $46 million cap hit. Like, we're better off with whoever the fuck else and, not even a rebuild, but at that point you could retool. Like, it's different things. The Broncos are a team that might last there because who knows?
The Broncos, the reason they would fall that far is just the amount of draft capital. You're not going to be able to do anything in the first couple of years unless you wholesale major pieces of that team.
But maybe you don't have to because you've got Russell Wilson.
Well, that's true. That's true.
You just
But,
take that team and you're
Russell,
like, maybe I think this team is competitive in the first 2 years. And then by the time I need to draft to replace things, then I can do that, you know?
yeah, he lasts a whole cycle. Russell does. So
Yeah.
I don't see the Broncos. I don't see the Broncos. Everybody in love with the Broncos like they are with the Lions. Like
Yeah.
I don't
Mhm.
see the Broncos dropping.
Well, because it always felt like the Broncos were a quarterback away
Yeah, like
from having
I
like a
can see the
really good
Cowboys.
competitive team.
The Cowboys will drop.
You think the
You know,
Cowboys will
stuff like
drop? Because
Dude,
I
if the
don't.
Cowboys are there at 21, I auto-pick them because the guy that, like, makes Madden ratings is a Cowboys fan. There's
I
no
will-
chance in hell that they're
I will
available
tell
in my
you
range.
right now, the Cowboys won't fall past 13.
If the Cowboys are available at
Yeah.
21, I'm drafting them.
They
Quote me
won't
on
because
it. Quote
they're
me
gonna
on it.
hit. I can tell you right now, they're gonna hit Coach Seals at 13. I'm like 99.9% positive he's a Cowboys fan. Like he will take the Cowboys. He
Yeah.
will user the shit out of Micah Parsons, and he will have an amazing Twitter.
But all three of those
Yeah,
things
man.
will be so true. So I guess it depends. Like I have not at all evaluated where I stand just because the ratings came out today, and when they did, I was at the pool. Like I haven't thought at all about what I'm doing. But I do know that no matter where I pick, there'll be options. But they're gonna be options that I've like thoroughly thought about. Like there's time between now and when we draft our teams.
Mm.
So I'm
Yeah.
definitely
You
going
got
to
hope, man. You
look
got
at
hope.
things and I'll get
You
something.
about 19 days to figure it the fuck out.
Mm.
And the beautiful thing is you'll have time to have played Madden with that whatever team you're thinking about picking.
Mm.
Like honestly, that's wherever you stand. Like this draft list, like wherever you stand, whatever teams you think will be available, play some fucking games with them. Even if it's like pick up games against CPU, it doesn't have to be against the user. Just like play with the team, get the feel for them, right? Figure out what they do, figure out what they're doing.
I'm gonna be putting together a top 8. Like that way, I'm at least sitting with 2 teams. You know what I mean? Coming out of my top 6, possibly more than that if things go the way that I think that they will end up playing out.
Yeah.
Mm. But it's hope though, man. That's the beauty of the team drafts. You know, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be cool. I'm looking forward to it. And then you got the speed tournament before. Like, it's gonna be plenty of opportunities to see, you know, what you're vibing with. Like, what we're talking about right now, it probably change by the time the game comes, especially when you see how it plays versus how
Mm.
Madden 22 plays. You're gonna be like,
Yeah.
whoa, I need this, I need that.
Yep.
Trust
Yep.
me.
Yep.
So,
No, I agree wholeheartedly,
man.
and I think that a big part of that is it's like the one saving grace of the pretty terrible teams in Madden is that they like generally speaking they all have a lot of cap space because they're bad because they're not paying anybody that's good because if they were they'd be a better team. So it's like you can pick at the bottom and it's just like well you like let's assume your team is just trash across the board. Guess what? You're gonna do bad the first year because you don't have any talent and that's fine. Play your games, take your losses, is what it is. And then all of a sudden, you're the one thing that I will say is I don't remember how morale tracks from year to year, but I don't remember. Does it carry over? Like if you
Yes.
went like 0 and like if you went like 3-13, do you have negative morale the next year just
I'm
automatically?
pretty sure you do.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that.
The commissioner I do know has the ability to reset morale. That'd be something that I would strongly consider. Well, I wish that it were not just well, no, because actually the commissioner can reset morale per team, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
That'd be
I think
something.
if it's owner mode.
That would be something that I would think the commissioners should look at. Not to necessarily reset morale for teams that did well. Like you should, if you won the Super Bowl, you should go in with a morale boost. I think, but I do think that especially for teams, it'd be different if somebody just like didn't play any of their games. Then fuck you. But like if you lost all of your games but you played them, and then you got a good draft pick, and you were diligent about managing your off season. I don't think you should go into the next season with like super negative morale just because you had a bad year. That'll happen. That's probably gonna happen to whatever team that I drafted 21. So this is a personal, selfish plea to the league, but like on the real, you've got this. I look at it like you look at last. Let's assume that TSR had gone into the next season. Seals would be a guy that I targeted because he started 0 and whatever the fuck and then won a few games in a row right at the end of the year, right? Seals is a guy we all love his Twitter. He's awesome. He's active, and he played really well in the back half of the stretch. And that's a team that would have still had a high draft pick, even though they played really well at the end of the stretch. That's a team that should go into the next season with not maybe not even positive morale, but like they shouldn't be like in the negatives on that shit. Because they showed strength and perseverance through the season, and they had a good draft pick, so they improved their team, things like that. That's where, again, I don't know how you balance that at all if you're running a league, but something to think about at
Yep.
least.
Shout out to the admins.
Yeah.
But we'll see. And I think that's an owner mode thing anyway, which I think they were talking about doing, going to owner mode versus coach, because nobody puts
Uh,
those scenarios, you
I
know.
would much rather do owner mode at this point, dude. And like, I'm not talking about letting people move teams or that kind of shit, but I find that so much funner. You have to manage your finances a little bit better. You have to think a little bit fucking more. The only thing that comes up sometimes is sometimes you get idiots that it's just a little too advanced for, and they tank their team because of it. They don't pay attention to their finances and their shit and what they're actually fucking doing. Now, I know that was a few years back. That was the last time I ever played in an owner mode league. And the other thing that I know like comforts me a little bit is with TSR is I don't see that guy in here where I'm like, oh, you gonna fuck that up, bro. Like super hard. You know what I mean?
Also, it's fucking hard to do that now. Like
Mm.
I think at least. So what I'll say is the last I have a fucking Lions team that I'm just playing right now, just like at the end of the cycle to try and like lab shit on my own while also like I am obsessed with like progress. I can't lab just to lab on my own at least. I have to be playing in a league where my team is getting better or something like that. So I took the Lions and I was like, yeah, let's rebuild them or whatever the fuck. So it'll be labbing while I'm also like making the team better. And when I was doing that, I noticed in the owner, like, because I was an owner as my Lions, like, franchise or whatever the fuck. And it was like, I was playing through the games, and I don't know if I simmed the first year or not on the rebuild. Actually, no, I know I did, because I drafted a quarterback. And it didn't really matter that I didn't affect anything. Like, I was the 32nd, like, I was the 32nd owner in terms of franchise value, but I started 31st as the Lions owner. So it didn't really matter that I didn't fuck with the ticket pricing. I don't think that the game actually puts that much emphasis on ticket sales and money and shit like that. It's not like it used to be where it would be if you didn't pay attention, you had no money to give people like bonus money in the office.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that. I don't think that it's that way anymore. There need to be somebody that actually like tested that, especially in the new Madden, because it would just be different next year than it is this year. But what I will say is, this last season, I just recently, like a week ago, played through a season with the Lions, and it didn't affect the fact that I didn't touch my ticket value or my like merchandise or food sales at all. That did not affect my ability to sign players in the offseason, which is where I think it affected them the most in past owner franchises.
Well, that's what I remember it affecting the most,
Yeah.
where people fucked it up and tanked
You'd
it as
have
they
you'd
give
have
all these
negative
big
like
ass
value,
bonuses,
like you couldn't
right?
exactly, and or also you could do that, or you couldn't offer somebody any bonus value if your team was bad because nobody was showing up to your games, so they weren't buying tickets, and then you didn't have any bonus money to pay somebody. I don't think that'll be an issue next year, but I also, to the point that we've both made, all three of us, I don't think that the owner base would make that an issue this year either, one way or the other. So
Yeah, we'll see, man. I'm sure those guys will test it out too. So
Oh yeah.
I think it's a good look though. It's something to consider. That and longer quarter deal.
The longer quarter thing, I'll beat on that drum, and I'll die on that hill.
you'll
Fuck it.
die on the hill. Let's
Right.
go! Ah, let's go! We'll die on a hill. I'm excited. I'm excited that someone else is dying on a hill. I'll die on that hill with you, brother. Hey. If two of us die on that hill.
So, looking at this list, any surprises for you guys? Anything you see that jumps out at you? I've got one that I'll lead off with, and actually one that I'm kind of proud of. And if he finds this at this point, cool. Broncos Game Buster having a top 10 pick. So, Doc, I know you weren't here when we started this league, right? He was one of those guys that was in here, and I remember his first couple games. He's like, "Man, Sim's not like comp." We heard a lot about like comp. I kept hearing that term comp.
Yeah, I heard.
I fucking hate comp, dude, because that just screams. But to see that dude adapt, and like especially the run he had in season 2. I know he's the second most active person in chat. Like he's there. He's doing his fucking thing. His Twitter's active. He plays his games. He schedules. It's cool to watch that dude evolve from being a comp guy to now being a sim guy and being a huge part of this league, and now holding a top 10 pick because of it.
Yeah, I typically in a league, when I see like a guy, even if I see like a guy that's like in college still or like under a certain age, I'm like, there's only so much he's gonna like do that's not like cringy, but like he's come a long way, man. So big shout out to Game Buster, man. To see him at that top 10, I thought that was pretty impressive. Because I did when I got here, I heard how he was like, "Oh, I'm doing this and this, YouTube this," and so respect to that. That is surprising to see him up there. Um, the other, I guess, the surprise that I saw, I guess this is. Can y'all hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Hear you
The
loud
other
and clear.
surprise that I saw was QP at 20. I think after the last season, I don't even know if he was like active at all. Um, I know he's an SML guy, but see him at 20, I didn't think I thought that was kind of high for QP. No knock on QP. I'm sure he's a good user, but
Oh, he's a great
it was
user.
kind
When
of
he
like
plays his game, the dude is
right,
fucking an
right.
amazing user, but it's like you were absentee the whole going even I
Second
felt
year
like the whole second
since I've
year,
been
like
here.
the whole thing. Like you weren't really here. Um I mean, I feel like Gouda played more games than he did.
Yeah.
I'm still once again, I am still in the league. This thing's still active where I can see this shit. I'm curious. Cause like I go far back. These like Gouda's the one who recruited me to the league. I know them both from the same league. So I'm really curious who this last season. All right, so the Chargers missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Well, I'll be
7,
right back. Right
8,
back.
9 games. The Raiders. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. So the Raiders missed 8 games. The Chargers missed 9 games.
Can you do me a favor?
Hmm.
Can you check how many games I missed? Since you're there, that's all I'll say. It's probably higher than I think.
Okay, so you missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games.
Heard.
Well, wait, time out, real quick. And maybe that's one thing I overlooked is I didn't check the force though, like who got.
Oh, that's fair.
Okay, so let's take a look at that real quick for you. So straight sims on the first two, so you didn't play those two. Straight sim, he didn't play that one. You had a force win versus the Texans. You had a force win versus the Jags. So
Yeah.
out of your 6, there was 4 you didn't play. Okay, those 2 for Gouda. That force was against him. That force was against him. Force against him. Force for him. Force against. Force for. So like, yeah, it's pretty close. It's a pretty close tie up there. But I really think that's the last thing I'm going to check here with the Chargers. Okay, missed that one. Missed that one. Missed that one. Missed that one. That one. That one. That one. Yeah, all the QPs were like forces against him.
So there's some debate. There's some good, healthy debate, but it's fine. We understand it's cumulative. It's good. It's good. It's fine. I'm gonna have
Dude, it's
I'm
your
gonna
first
have my
couple
team
is
at 21. It doesn't
I
matter. It
feel
doesn't matter. We're looking at next cycle, and the list is what it is, and this is where we go. This is where we all go, right? We all go from where we're at.
I think here's the thing, man, is it wasn't until like the first quarter through the second season where you really got going. So
Yeah.
like I think there was that first season, that first off season. You can say it was pretty bad, right?
I will say it was pretty bad.
Yeah. So, but now you're here, you're more
The
invested in
thing,
it. I still think you're going to get a good team at 21, man, and I feel like you're going to be able to
what el
move forward.
the thing that I'll say that burns the most is that when we started this podcast, as soon as we started, it was like QP was just didn't care. And we recorded podcast after podcast after podcast where we're like, this dude's losing games that no, QP's a better user than this. And we're like, oh, he's just not playing it, right? we even said, like, in our last one, it's like this guy clearly is mailing in this entire season. He doesn't care about this cycle. He's focused on the next one, which is totally fair. That might be how you look at it. And then I'm slotted behind him. But much love. I do love this league, and I'm going. I can't. It's gonna depend. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for the next draft. I really am. It's gonna depend so much on a lot of things. Like at 21, like I said this earlier and I meant it. You're picking, like, there's going to be good teams at 21. I don't doubt that at all. And I mean that. I don't doubt there will be a good team for me to pick there. Something that might, like, at 21, I'm expecting to draft a team that I'll have to develop a little bit. But what I'm really looking forward to is finding where the teams ahead of me land.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, I'm not trying to put a mark on anyone's head, but what I do know about the Q Pierce is that he's going to just stop caring after a few seasons. So maybe wherever he picks his team, I'm just going to pick the other team in that division because I know in a couple years there's going to be at least one team that doesn't care anymore. So who knows?
Oh, watch you light a whole ass fire you shouldn't have lit.
I hope I fucking do. I fucking hope I do because the Q Pierce that I know is not the Q Pierce that I ran into in TSR. That man dominated leagues. And that's not that's like imagining Goliath and then you run into some fucking shrimp that's just like not even around. So yeah, I hope that I do light a fire under Q Pierce's ass. I hope that I do. Because the Q Pierce that I ran into in the shadowboxing, in the TSR, the Shadow Realm, that's not the Q Pierce that I knew and loved. Two different people. But anyways, that all of that's for another podcast because we are about wrapping up this one, and we will have a draft, recap, sort of like a mock draft for what we think people are gonna pick.
No,
based
like
off
I
of
think
this
we're gonna.
list.
I think off of the list next Monday, next Tuesday, we're gonna do a mock draft one. I think that'll be really good to go over and kind of speculate and see and think, where people are at. I think we should try to get a couple people on for that.
Yeah, I agree. I think we. So here's what I would like to happen next week. I'd like to have multiple guests on. Like this is not something that I should talk about in real time, like on the air, because this is based again because we don't edit. Even though this is a recording, it's essentially on the air. So like when we spring shit on each other, it's like happening in real time. But I really think that we should have no less than 2 guests next episode, and I don't know, frankly, that there should be a cap on the number of people that we have here. Because the thing is, we could have just a regular ass Discord call as the backdrop, right? With as many people as here are here. And the overlay is awesome. Again, thank you, Shane, for the awesome overlay that you've given us. But like for next week's episode, we could just have a Discord call with everybody active that we have that we want to like call on. We would have to be organized in calling on certain people if we have a gajillion people, but I'd love to have a gajillion people like talking about the draft order and who we're gonna pick and things like that. Like, I'd love that.
Yeah, man. That'd be dope. At least somebody and one of the admins too. One of the guys that know a lot of the people in here.
Oh no, I already know. Like, man, the homie Jay Smooth has been asking to be on this show.
Yeah, you got to get Jay Smooth.
That's my Leinenkugels homie. So Jay Smooth next week. For that one, we're definitely gonna have you on. Honestly, Doc, I mean, if I could get you and Freight on there for that one as well, I would love that.
Yeah, man.
I mean, Lando, we've had Lando on. He was a great guest. I know there's a couple other guys in here that have been asking to be on. I mean, I'd love to get all sorts of these guys in here on here. I mean, shit, Gouda, QP, come on, let's bullshit for a night. Like any of those guys, Bomber. I don't know if we're up too late for you, buddy. Like, come here and see us. Anyone in like at all that's in this league that wants to contribute to this shit, I'm down for it.
Yes, sir.
Dude, I'm here as well.
Hey. Yeah, man. Good things ahead though, man. So I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, y'all let me know. But we're gonna see, man. I hope these next couple of weeks fly by. I put it like that. You
Yeah,
know?
same here, man.
But
I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, I'm just kind of.
Uh, there's ways that we could go with that comment, and we're not going to, but it's fine. Well, seriously though, TSR, the Shadow Realm, we thank you guys so much for all the support that you've given this podcast. Doc, thank you so much for coming on as our guest. I will give
Yes,
you
sir.
the floor. We're sending it off, but what would you like to say to us, the TSR community as a whole? Like, what you got for us?
Oh man. I got in this league by accident, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the guys in the league, the admins for sure. I do feel like, yeah, I will say this because I didn't hop on a lot of the last couple of shows or whatever, but I feel like I'm probably the most misunderstood user out here. If you let it be known, I'm a gray area guy or a cheese ball or whatever, and I feel like that's kind of crazy, but I'm looking forward to the next cycle to keep proving that wrong, and you know, I'm trying to bring it, man. I think we'll see. We're gonna see a lot of comp next year, man. I'm just looking forward to that. So I'm just glad we got a lead that's solid, especially in such a dead time in Madden. And now we're about to get blessed with probably one of the best Maddens that they've come out with in years. So I'm just looking forward to that. Appreciate you guys. So yeah, that's it.
All right, Filthy, what you got to send us off?
Oh, nothing much, man. I appreciate this league, dude. I appreciate the people that are in it. I love the fact that y'all even listen to us. Like, I was kind of nervous about that when we first threw this out here. I'm like, are we just gonna be fucking yelling at ourselves and no one watches this?
Yes,
But it's
sir.
been cool to see the response, to see the amount of you guys that want to come on, and to just see how cool and active and like just tight knit this league is. Like I said, man, I've been in some sim leagues where it's like it's a battlefield. Nobody likes nobody. The general chat is nothing more than people like, no, fuck you, no, fuck you. Like
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
chill. This is, I know, like you said, Doc, it gets overplayed, but this league's a vibe. Like, it's cool to be in here, perp the fuck up. I love that term. I'm actually happy that I get to say that now once my
Right.
name finally gets switched to back the fuck over. But perp the
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
up, dude. TSR all day long. I love you guys, and I cannot wait to see what this league does in M23 and further.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. 100%. I'll wrap it up for us then. I like y'all stole the words right out of my mouth. Like, I love this league. This is something that like we joke about. Like Filthy joked with me about like it'll up your fucking content score when we started this podcast. But that's I like. I'm not gonna argue that score going up. Of course, nobody would. But that's not why I do it. I do it because I love this community. I love this league. This is something that I like. I Y'all don't understand, like, the people that I live with are like, what do you mean you're going upstairs and locking yourself up to record a podcast for? And I'm like, you goddamn right I'm doing this. Like, this is what I do on Mondays, Tuesdays. You know this about me. Like, I love this league. I love doing this. I love providing this content. And I personally love that this particular group of humans was able to provide this content for about 2 hours. And I love that because this is one that I don't have to worry about providing fucking like tags on. Like, this is one of the podcasts that we can record that like there aren't timestamps. This was just an awesome 2-hour conversation about the league. And if you don't like that, then this isn't the podcast for you. But if you do like it, then this is 2 hours of grade A content for you. And Doc, thank you so much for being a part of it. Because you were not just a part of it, you were a driver of it. And what I'll say is, I want to shout out, like, we have guests on the show, and we're going to always have them. You're one of the better guests that I've had that actually posed questions that, like, caused us to react to them, right? Like, normally we have to, like, post questions that make the guest react, and you just did the inverse, and we loved it. We loved it, so.
And that's what's up, man.
That's what's up.
I appreciate that.
No, thank you so much.
It's just feeding off of what you guys do, so.
Dude, this is the
Yes,
energy,
sir.
man. This is the energy between all three of us that this league thrives on 100%. And I'm so glad, Doc, that you joined this league because I know that it's a better league for it. So, with all of that said, for J-Dog, for Filthy, for Doc, this has been Shadow Boxing. We thank you guys so much for tuning into this. And we're going to have another banger of an episode for you when we go through our mock drafts next week. And until then, we will see you guys next time. So, until then, take care of yourselves. And if you can, take care of someone else as well.
Perk the fuck up.
Perk!
Shadowboxing with Filthy and J-Dog.